When I decided I wanted to make music, I basically just thought to myself that making what I like is what I always wanted to do. Yeah, I didn't really even care about if I was imitating someone, if I was like the lots of critics that I used to receive was, oh, this sounds too much like this artist, or this is a bit trying too much to fit in this genre. And I realized that those comments were right, and I was in a bad position. But when I decided to make music, I realized that what I was doing was not express myself, was expressing what I wanted to show others by imitating the person that I wanted to show. Since I moved to the UK, I have started experimenting a lot with different genres. I have made a reggae track before. That was quite an experience. I have like helped people and especially a lot of bands perform like indie rock, metal in some occasions with not really what I would seem to be enjoying or to be listening to, but I actually quite enjoy metal. Um, it was actually quite fun because it gave me a lot of a bit of a taste of every genre, and from there, I feel like everything influenced my choices in the music I make, which is obviously electronic. No, there is already just like a bit of a mix between electronic and other existing genres, especially the one I just mentioned. But it's kind of like taking the recipe for something and applying it in another different context. It You decide what you want to do, how much you put in it, and it kind of changes everything. Well, I've started using Ableton um last year in 2024, beginning of 2024. Um, it was a bit of a hard move from FL Studio, and I just spent last year focusing on learning all three major DAWs and now actually experimenting with other DAWs and just finding the right tool for me to make music. And Ableton suits me in the sense of I can work with the setup that I want and I can have as much effects, as many instruments or as many hardware instruments like just behind me. Um, and just use them in any context. So I could use one of these and at the same time just having a virtual instrument running around or having an effect that does affects these. And I like to mess a lot with um, physical stuff. I love keyboards, I love guitars, I love playing bass as well. And the fact that there is a door that allows me to not only record um, and arrange all the tools that I have and mess around with the way I want, but it allows me to perform it as well. It's kind of opened a big door for me, and I have been kind of looking into world of performance, not just strictly with DJing, but also with performing with synths or backing tracks or like live electronic. more specifically to the EP, the inspiration came mainly from the concept of Porter Robinson's album Nurture, which I love. I literally have the copy just right here. This album is everything, and it's literally my favorite album. Um, yeah, the concept of basically going and have this nature theme and the childlike voice talking to yourself, like inner thoughts, inner self, and revise your mental health and your musicianship had quite an impact on the development of this EP, especially because I've been struggling creatively uh, for a very long time with making music, and I still struggle to this day. And Walter Robinson actually helped me overcome, not fully, but overcome this. And it's something that he faced as well, and it was literally my role model. So I owe him big time. And not only that, but I come, uh, if even though we are far apart, me and my friends still talk to each other, and I have all of them doing something music related that involves like a big project or including a theme and defining themselves as musicians. Like I have my friend Francesco that is collaborating with loads of rappers, and because he's very passionate about the rap scene in Italy, and he uh, tries to write his own bars, and they're honestly very amazing. He makes his own beats, and he's now trying so hard to fit in the scene in Italy, as well as my friend Lorenzo that is trying to develop as well an EP. I actually inspired him to make the same, and he was so motivated. He just sat down one night and he made 3 tracks of the EP, and I was like, damn, you're really focused on this, and they inspire me to do better. Even like Davide released a full-blown out album on a style that he's been working on, more like reminiscing of the whole electropop 2010, Calvin Harris, that kind of style, Euro dance as well. And shout out to all of them. Uh, but they are motivating me to achieve something bigger with my music, and they keep pushing me to do better. And I am very glad to have them in my life to bring bring me forward in what I'm doing. And at least it's nice to have someone on the same level that believes in you. How is it like working with lyricists? It was very fun. It was a lot of struggling, loads of messing around, loads of playing music in loop and just dancing across the room. Uh, but overall, it was very productive. I did learn a lot about writing lyrics, and because I never had experience. I mean, I've tried, but English not being my first language was a big struggle. So now that I think about it, I think I'm getting better and better at writing lyrics. Might do it again. Um, Even a fun fact for one of the tracks, Hometown, I actually wrote it all myself. I just asked for supervision just to make sure I didn't make any grammar mistakes, or like everything felt quite appropriate. And I was surprised with myself because I never actually wrote a full track on my own. Uh, Quite proud of that. So talking about a bit more in detail of the tracks, this is where I started to make the whole of the EP, and essentially all tracks were just created in this space, very simple studio, just a keyboard, two speakers. I have a microphone somewhere down there. Um, ADHD was the first track that I made, and it kind of came along with me playing essentially three notes, which were these three. And those notes were stuck in my head, and I've just put on a chord progression with them. So this kind of set a bit of a mood of a like nostalgia and a bit of calmness in a way. And from there, I just continued developing. I had like a very first raw version, which didn't have vocals, but the main melody got stuck in my head, and something that I repeat to myself quite often is "get out my head." That kind of inspired then the lyrics, and thinking about then also the context of the track. Everything is very different than what I usually make or usually made in the past. There was a very like progressive house, future house, very centered towards house, techno, and that part of EDM. But this felt a bit different, and I started thinking about what would my um, old self think about this, and that sparked up the whole theme of a dream has died and ADHD, which is a bit of a play on words because you also have ADHD as in the attention deficit hyperactive disorder, but in this case it's a dream has died, and it's the first line. As you can notice, the track is a bit messy, and that's literally on purpose because I kind of wanted to go with the flow. I wanted to sound natural, I wanted to sound a bit disorganized, a bit all over the place, kind of reflect ADHD itself. I'm quite content with the result of the track. I haven't made this kind of very upbeat genre a lot, but it's always fun, and I consider it one of the most fun tracks that I've made, and also very unconventional since it doesn't have a very conventional arrangement itself. It's a very long intro, and then it just goes straight into the verse, the pre-chorus, and then into the drop, which then goes into a massive outro. For How to Fly, things were a bit complicated because I know in my head I wanted something a bit more conventional, something a bit more different, and quite the opposite of ADHD. And even the theme is completely the opposite, whereas in ADHD I'm taking more the aspect of having that inner self thinking about what you're doing and getting in your head to the point you don't want to have it. Whereas How to Fly instead takes an approach where you want that inner child and you want that inner person to be with you. But the more you try, the more you can't reach it. It's just like total disconnection and you feel at a loss. And in my case, I've many times lost inspiration and I fell into creative block. And this track kind of brought me out of it, but made me reflect at the same time what I was going through at the time with a creative block. And I also worked with a lyricist in terms of songwriting because I don't have that much experience. I mean, I did try and write some songs for myself and sing them myself as well. It wasn't that great at the time because I still had a very rough voice. I haven't practiced singing at all. Ever since I came here, I do sing a little, but I'm not the best singer. I'm just myself. I do it for fun. And working with the lyricist was actually pretty interesting because I had the chance to go a bit deeper with the meaning of the track and just understand how to construct the story and what picture to paint with this. And the fact that we went deep into the detail of losing someone and having like missing a person that is plays a pivotal role in your life was very interesting and very like reflective. It definitely changed my approach on songwriting, and it definitely helped making me write all the other tracks in terms of songwriting, in terms of lyric wise. On Alone was probably the first track that I got stuck into. And when I say stuck, I mean I didn't really know what to add. I made a production that I was quite happy with, but at the same time, I knew I could achieve more. So there was very much of a debate of what I could do to make it better. Even singing on it did bit of justice, but I didn't know how to continue, and I didn't know what to directly like express in terms of lyrics. I did send my mates this track to kind of get some feedback and having a bit of help with what to write, and also in terms of sound because it was a very sloppy at the beginning. Then one of my best friends, Francesco, also known as Baby John, he decided to write a verse for it and kind of gave him a general topic of the track and the context behind it. And he tried and add his own part that worked, in my opinion, beautifully. In the sense of we both have experience being alone, and we both know how it feels, and having the combination of both of us explicitly saying how we were feeling gave a lot of power, a lot more importance to the track that I feel like that was missing at the beginning of the project. So I'm very grateful to have collabed with him because he's a very talented musician and a very talented rapper as well. I would definitely do it again. I also had this down-tempo influence from him and very underground influence. Um, I felt like it was made for us to just do this track together, and I took the opportunity to do it. Forgotten Memories, huh? Forgotten Memories is a bit of a tough track, as in it's not a track I made for this EP. It was supposed to be for another project that I have, and it was definitely born out of a situation that happened. I think it was probably one of the earliest tracks I've made ever since coming here in the UK, especially in London. The context behind this track is quite funny actually, and quite deep. My friends organized this little surprise project for me where I wasn't feeling quite well mentally. I was struggling with depression again, and everything felt like it was falling back on me. And everyone just got together and showed me their support. Say everyone, I mean, everyone that I know that is in the music industry and that is even passionate about making music. They were there to show me their support and basically just told me that they're there for me, and it's something that I didn't have the first time that I was struggling with depression. So it felt very relieving. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because in the whole surprise that they did for me, they basically just put a very emotional soundtrack, which included the guitar loop that is also in the audio in the project file. I kind of made a joke with Lorenzo, another one of my friends, also known as Kefi, that I could make a track out of that loop. So I got him to pass me that loop, and I made what it is now, Forgotten Memories. And another fun fact that I was actually saying at the beginning of this is this track wasn't meant for this EP. It was meant for a different project that completely got lost. Because the years that it's been, I have changed computers, I have changed devices and hard drives and gear and everything, so it kind of got lost within those files. But I still had the render, and I kept it there as a memento. And for once, it kind of fit the vibe of the whole EP and the meaning of it. For me and for the people that obviously know about this, they probably find out that it resonates very well with everything. And this is probably my favorite track in the EP. Talking about reality's storyline is a bit different. The fact that it's connected to Forgotten Memories shows that there is a bit of an evolution or like progression within the storyline. Essentially, what reality talks about is the desire of moving out and the desire of doing something out of the ordinary, just going different places, explore, and basically empowering yourselves to do what you want and take control of your life. And even for the track, I did take control of what I wanted to do, and I was kind of hoping of going back to what I was making before, which was progressive melodic house style music. Obviously, that genre is not popular anymore, but I was hoping to remodernize it and bring it back, at least in the form of this track. Even in terms of arrangement, the whole arrangement is following similarly to How to Fly and Alone. So kind of taking this very extended, unconventional arrangement that makes everything very euphoric and anticipates a lot of the context of what the track we're going to talk about. Even whilst recording the track, I was very hyped with the production of it, and everything was coming along very well, and I was very satisfied. I felt like I went back to that past self that was very carefree, wasn't really caring about those details of sound and what the now modern electronic music is looking for. I was just producing in the sense of what I wanted to do, of taking control of the production and the vocal production and the arrangement and the songwriting of it. Everything was kind of coming together in the sense of I had all the pieces and I was flawlessly just putting them all together. Little fun fact about reality first is the main sample, the main piano chords that are playing are something like it's not me playing the chords, it's actually one of my projects rendered that I have, and I just took it and I just sampled myself. And I took inspiration from that from a musician by Porter Robinson. So I love the fact that how he was playing around with his own track, but like changing the pitch, changing the rhythm. And I did the same, and it worked, and I was so happy with it. Last but not least, Hometown. Okay, this track, although it's not my favorite of the EP, it's one of the tracks that I hold dear to my heart for a very simple reason. Actually, two very simple reasons. First one is at the time of writing the track, I was feeling very homesick, and um, at the moment, I'm currently sort of struggling to find the time to go back home and see my family. And I kind of wanted to dedicate a track to that feeling of homesickness and sense of nostalgia as well. And the second reason I'm very proud of this track is because on all other tracks in terms of songwriting and also singing, I had, as I said, Maggie Spinks supervising me and giving me feedback, and other people giving me feedback in terms of what I wrote and what I did with my voice there. Uh, in this occasion, I actually did everything on my own, and I am very proud and very surprised of the outcome of it because I was feeling very confident, and I think that confidence gave back a lot to the track that it actually deserves. One detail about this track that I find quite amusing is how I accidentally made it sound similar to another one of my tracks, if not my most popular track at the moment, which is Anywhere, with that tropical, nostalgic, sentimental vibe. Uh, and I kind of loved it because Anywhere was a very improvised track. It was a track that I made, I think it was around this time of the year, so April. I think actually it's been 5 years, close to 5 years ago since I signed Anywhere with a record label, which was mental to think about. That I signed a record label deal. It's crazy. And the fact that I'm kind of paying homage to the track itself, it's quite ironic, but at the same time, it's quite adorable in a way. Because it totally slipped my mind about Anywhere, and it was just pure coincidence that I would do this. And I'm actually quite satisfied and quite proud of what I made. Um, Even like in terms of the second drop having like a different vibe, I feel like the whole purpose of the EP was like break out of what I think for myself was conventional and kind of breaking free of those cages that I was putting on myself. So songwriting and singing on my own track, something that I've tried to do but never successfully done and never actually put out in the open. And also change my arrangement, change the styles of not the style of the sound itself, but the styles in terms of genre. And as obviously the name of the EP suggests, being Metanoia, um, it kind of progressed and it shows my progress across my time here in the UK. And I cannot be more proud of what I've just made. I'm so excited to put this EP out and show the world what I'm capable of. That's it. I think I don't have it.